great.
Yeah?
And you are so rocking.
Oh!
You have the best talk show. No.
Thank you to my team. Well, congrats on the book. The very first line reads, I didn't start out wanting to be a guy.
Well, see?
Explain what that means.
When I started in the news business, this was back in the late 60s, all I saw around me were men. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know, what am I going to do about this? The guys in the newsroom, all men. My competitors, all men. Here's a great example of that photograph that shows that I'm among what I call a sea of men.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the House Judiciary Committee, excuse me, hearings into the impeachment of Richard Nixon. And everybody I was covering in Washington was a man. So I thought, I'll be a guy too. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll just see myself as a guy. I'll have bravado. I'll walk into a room and own it. I will, you know, I even had a potty mouth. I'm not proud of it.
Yeah. But
it was the only way to sort of be one of them. I wanted to be one of their boys' club people. Mm-hmm. And it seemed to be okay. It seemed to kind of throw them off because they wanted to see me as a little lotus blossom. And, and so when I'd walk past a mirror, I'd go, because I'd see a Chinese woman staring back at me.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
You say something funny in the book. You diagnose these men with a disease, right?
Yes, the anchor men in particular.
Okay.
They had this, they would contract this disease called big shotitis.
Yes. where the symptoms were.
Yeah, the symptoms were, and I'm sure you ran into this in the music industry.
Yeah.
They engaged in self-aggrandizing behavior.
Yeah.
They had unrelenting hubris. You couldn't fit their heads in Madison Square Garden, even if there was a game there. and my favorite one that I wrote up was, they have delusions of sexual prowess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which usually cuts to, you're probably boring in bed.
Yeah.
Usually when someone's talking so much about it,
well,
they're not really, yeah.
They couldn't keep their power in their pants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they would find a way to harass with these sexual innuendos. So I would lob one at them before they'd lob it at me.
Yeah.
And they would be pretty shocked because they weren't expecting it. It was kind of my armor.
Yeah, but also very fun to trip them up.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Your book, though, it's called Connie, so just Connie, but this is for the next generation, right?
Well, you know, my husband, you know, Maury Povich.
Yes.
Yeah, of course,
Yep.
we've talked about Maury.
Yeah.
He said, you know, you should just name it Connie because there was this phenomenon that a woman discovered. Her name was Connie Wong, and she cold emailed me, and she said, I'm named after you. And I couldn't believe it. And so I talked to her on the phone, and she said she was only 3 when her parents came from communist China to the U.S., and they said, we have to give you an American name. And all she knew was what she saw on television. So she said Connie or Elmo.
I think she chose wisely.
I think so.
Yes. Would have been a very different.
What she discovered was there were untold numbers of Asian parents who named their baby daughters Connie after me. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, really
Well, you
amazing.
never thought probably the reach or the impact would lead to that, what you were doing. Yeah.
Never. So I went on this book tour, you know, and I met like 6 or 7 more Connies. It was amazing. And I even met a Connie Chung drag queen.
What was that like?
Well, he told me that it takes him like 4 hours to get his makeup on. And I said, hey, dude, it only takes me 15 minutes. You know? Come on.
Yeah.
You got to get
your
with
game.
It. Yeah.
I would never sit somewhere for 4 hours. Oh, my gosh.
No.
So, wait, we actually have a couple of Connies named for Connie with us today.
No.
Who wanted to celebrate the book with you. Could you
You're
stand
kidding.
up? So we have a couple here. And even one of our NBC pages is named in honor of Connie.
No way.
Yes. So what does it mean for you to be named after Connie?
Yep. I'm named after Connie, and you are such an inspiration to me because you have broken so many barriers as the first Asian American woman on national news.
Oh my God.
You always remind me to be fearless as well as stay curious. Thank you so much for
Staying curious, yeah.
You. That's you.
Yeah. Well, we need a commercial
Can I go
break.
over and
Oh,
say
yeah, go
hello to
ahead.
them?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, all right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Connie's book is called Connie. It's out now wherever you buy your books, and everyone in the audience is going home with a copy. Up next, we have another young woman who is hoping to become a journalist. She has no idea Connie is here, so Connie will go hide and surprise her when we come back. Welcome back, y'all. Our next guest is a 12-year-old aspiring journalist who already has quite the impressive resume. She and her brother host a YouTube channel on all things space. She's earned 2 Scholastic Awards for her podcast projects, and she's one of 9 kid reporters nationwide for the Time for Kids magazine. Everybody say hello to Evelyn. So congratulations on all the success, and you're only 12, so Time magazine's a big deal. Like, what kinds of things do you write about?
Well, it's a huge honor. I love journalism because it's a way to share other people's stories and draw attention to their causes. To apply to become a Time for Kid reporter, I had to write an article about a kid who's working to change the world. I wrote about my friend Tomas, who's the leader of my school's climate emergency group.
Wow.
Currently, we take a bus to the PE building, which is only like 2 or 3 blocks away. So Tomas's goal is for us to walk there instead. So I also wrote an article about my Chinese school, CCPC.
Yeah.
I wrote about its tightly knit community and how people who are not necessarily of Chinese heritage can still go there and have the fun experience of learning Mandarin.
Yeah.
I spoke with its academic directors, parents, and students.
Yeah, you are, I mean, it's just, you're 12, and it is crazy to me. Like, you are so well-spoken. What's your ultimate goal? Because you're brilliant already at like 12, and you're clever, and you're funny. Like, what's your ultimate goal in life?
I think I'd like to become an investigative journalist,
Yeah.
highlighting girls' and women's causes, because I think girls in STEM is really important, because I'm a coder myself. And
Of course you are. Okay. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
And girls are just as able to do math and code as well as boys are.
Yeah.
I also care about diverse representation in books, so people can relate to the characters and see themselves in them.
Yeah.
Also, over the summer, I took a course in forensics, and I learned that crime scene investigators have to write up reports, and they have to draw sketches and document everything in the crime scene.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool to do because it combines 2 of my favorite things, writing and logic puzzles.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're cool. You are so cool.
Thank you.
We have someone backstage who knows everything it takes to be a successful journalist, which is one of the things that you're into. So she's one of the most accomplished journalists of all time, a trailblazer who's covered many of the very issues Evelyn's talking about right now. And she wants to meet Evelyn, so we call her a whole lot of woman. All right, y'all, say hello to Connie Chung! She shook her hand. Come on over. I mean, at 12, were you like?
She's scaring the bejesus
Yeah,
out of
you
me.
were like. It's like it was a good surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Evelyn, I mean, you know, at your age, I was like, duh.
Like
Seriously, because I've read some of your stuff, and you know words that I still don't know. No, seriously,
Yeah.
I'd have to look them up. You know?
What advice do you have for Evelyn, like moving forward?
Well, I heard that she wanted to be an investigative reporter, and I think that's really great.
Yeah.
Because I think we have great investigations going on today. And maybe we can swing the pendulum back to having unopinionated news. And the investigative reporting is fantastic.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great investigative reporters and journalism that is solid out there. There's just
I love that you said the
few.
swinging of the pendulum back because I feel like it's so different right now, obviously, than when it was years ago.
Yeah, but she can help change it.
I know.
You know, if she's part of the generation that will help change everything we see it as it is today, we're good.
No pressure. Well, you have a surprise for her, right?
Oh, yes. If you want to do something later on, you know, with me, like maybe you could interview me or something like that, and then we
Maybe
could
give
talk
notes or
about
something, yeah.
the art of interviewing. Does that sound good?
That could be so fun.
Wait, can I do that with you? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm gonna get in on this.
I'm telling you, you got this down, Kelly. I mean, I am such a fangirl of yours. I seriously am.
Oh man, no, ditto. I'm not joking. I would love the tips from you. But yes, I mean, but for Evelyn, that's so great.